Good morning, everyone. Today we'll be dealing with self-controlled synchronous motor drive. This is Professor Shubha Barwani. Right? You please go through the presentation. If any doubts, you can contact me on the given mail ID. So we'll start with the self-controlled synchronous motor drive. So, in large power drives, wound field synchronous motor is used. Medium power drives also employ permanent magnet synchronous motor. Okay, right? So this is the figure, right, for self-controlled synchronous motor drive. Okay, where we employ load commutated inverter, right? So we have 6 switches on the, see, when we say load commutated inverter, here we are going to use 2 inverters or 2 converters of 6 switches each. Okay, with the load inductor LD. Okay, with the inductor LD. So if you remember, we had already discussed about LD, right? Function of LD is to remove the high current, it is to resist the high current, right? So this drive, as I said, employs 2 converters, right? One is source side converter, one is load side converter. So the source side converter is a 6 pulse, I showed you, right? It is a 6 pulse line commutated thyristor converter. Okay, it's a 6 pulse line commutated thyristor converter. For a firing angle ranging between 0 to 90, it works as a line commutated fully controlled rectifier. Okay, see, right now I am talking only about source side converter. Okay, source side. So it works as a line commutated fully controlled rectifier, delivering positive VDS and positive ID, and for the range of firing angle after this, that is 90 to 180, it works as a line commutated inverter. See, here it was working as a rectifier and now it works as an inverter, delivering negative VDS and positive ID, right? See, this ID, okay, it's positive because of my LD. You should remember that, right? Importance of LD, as I said, we had discussed earlier, right? So when the self-controlled synchronous motor drive operates at a leading power factor, thyristors of the load side converter can be commutated by the motor induced voltages, right, in the same way as the thyristors of a line commutated converter are commutated by the line voltages, right? I hope this is clear. Commutation of thyristor, how it takes place, we already know. Okay, right? With this, right, we are describing the performance or working of source side converter. Right now we are not, we are not moved to the load side, we are just doing with the source side converter, right? So commutation of the thyristors by the induced voltages of load. Here what we have considered the load, we have considered the load as a motor, okay, is known as load commutation, right? So firing angle, when we talk about the firing angle at the load side inverter, firing angle is measured by comparison of induced voltages in the same way as by the comparison of the line voltages in the line commutated converter, right? This we know, right? In a line commutated converter, what we do? We do the comparison of line voltages. Okay, so here we are going to do with the firing angle. Okay, we have to measure the firing angle. Okay, right? With this, so converter operates as an inverter producing negative VDL and carrying positive ID for firing angle 90 to 180 degrees, right? See, for 90 to 180 degrees my voltage is negative, however my current is still positive. So for firing angle 0 to 90, it works as a rectifier giving positive VDL. For firing angle, as I said, 0 to 90 degree, right, and 90 degree to 180 degree, with VDS greater than VDL. VDS is source side voltage, VDL is load side voltage. So we have to go for comparing these two, right? Induced voltages we compare in the line commutated inverter. So we are comparing source side voltage and load side voltage, right? So the source side inverter, right, as I said, we are comparing this. So the source side converter works as a rectifier, right, for the angles 0 to 90 degree, right? And the load side converter acts as an inverter, causing power to flow from AC source to the motor, okay, thus giving motoring operation, right? I'll come back to this figure, right? See, this is my source side converter and this is my load side converter, right? So firing angle ranging between 0 to 90 degree, condition of my current is always positive, okay, either it be 0 to 90 or 90 to 180 firing angle, okay. So when my firing angle is between 0 to 90 degree, what happens? This source side converter acts as a rectifier, right, and this acts as a inverter, right? However, if you see here, for the right, see, converter operates in an inverter as an inverter producing negative VDL, okay, for 90 degrees for the firing angles of load. This is load angle, load firing angle AL, okay, 90 degrees to 180 degrees, okay. I'll go back to my main figure now, right? See, understand that this is my source side converter and this is my load side converter. Whatever firing angle here I am showing, this would be alpha S and this side firing angle would be alpha L, okay. So we need to see the condition of alpha S for between 0 to 90 and 90 to 180, okay, and 90 to 180, okay. Similarly, alpha L I need to see when it varies from 0 to 90 and 90 to 180, okay. So there are, see, when my firing angle, okay, when my firing angle is between 90 to 180, what happens? When alpha S is also between 90 to 180 and alpha L is also between 90 to when alpha S is between 0 to 90 and alpha L is also between 0 to 90, right? See, when alpha S is between 0 to 90 and alpha L is also between 0 to 90, okay, alpha S is source side firing angle, alpha L is load side firing angle, okay. Under these conditions, right, condition of voltage, okay, we need to see it is positive, okay. VDS is here, this is also positive, VDL is also positive, okay. However, ID is always positive, okay, because of my LD, right. So when my firing angles are in this range 0 to 90, source side converter acts as a rectifier and load side converter acts as a inverter, right. Okay. However, for the next firing angle between 90 to 180, between 90 to 180, right, what happens, this side, source converter side, acts as a, now it is reverse of what we had done in 0 to 90. However, condition of voltages may change, but condition of current will not change. Okay, right with this, right? So we were here. Okay, so when firing angles, see, when firing angles are changed such that source side firing angle is 90 to 180 and the load side angle is 0 to 90, it's still between 0, load side firing angle is still between 0 to 90, source side is 90 to 180. It means what? The load side converter operates as a rectifier and the source side acts as inverter in this case, right? So consequently the power flow reverses and the machine operates in the regenerative braking. So the magnitude of the torque depends on VDS minus VDL. As I said, these are line commutated, so it is comparing the voltages. So error between this would be measured, right? So when working as an inverter, the firing angle has to be less than 180 degree to take care of the commutation overlap and turning off of the thyristors. It is common to define a commutation lead angle for the load side converter. Now we were till now dealing with alpha. Now we will deal with beta. So load side commutation lead angle, okay, or commutation angle would be 180 minus firing angle. This is load side firing angle. Since motor input current has an opposite phase to converter input current, the motor current will lead its terminal voltage by an angle beta L. Therefore, the motor operates at a leading power factor. The commutation overlap for the load side converter depends on the sub-transient inductance of the motor. I told you. Okay, the motor is provided with a damper winding. Here damper winding plays an important role. So the motor is provided with a damper winding in order to reduce the sub-transient inductance. This allows the operation with a substantially lower values of beta L, right? Lower the value of beta L, higher the motor power factor and lower the inverter rating. You should remember this, right? I repeat, depending on this what I say, lower the value of beta L, the commutation angle, higher the power factor of the motor is, and lower would be the inverter rating, right? For successful commutation of thyristor, my gamma must be greater than omega into TQ, where TQ is the turn off time of the thyristors and omega is the frequency of the motor voltage in radians per second, right? Now we are talking about the DC link inductor. Okay, I said LC, LD. We'll talk about the DC link inductor now, right? So coming back here, something, okay, right. So now my work is to calculate beta L, right? I said the value of the beta L should be lower for the high motor power factor, right? So for the calculation of beta L, okay, thyristors under commutation is reverse biased and for a duration of Y minimum. Okay, this is why I have given here Y or gamma, right, which is just enough for its commutation. This in turn minimizes beta L and maximizes power factor. Okay, since gamma is kept constant at its minimum value, right, this gamma we keep it constant for a minimum value of gamma minimum. The control scheme, okay, this control scheme is called as constant margin angle control. Remember, this is called as constant margin angle control because we are limiting the value of gamma, right. Next, going on with the DC link inductor, right. So DC link inductor reduces the ripple in the DC link current ID and prevents the two converters from interfering with each other's operation, right. Because of the DC link current, the AC input current source side of the source side converter also has a 6-step current waveform. Right. So the load side converter, when working as an inverter, behaves essentially as a current source inverter, right, except that thyristor commutation is now performed by the motor induced voltages, right. So consequently the motor phase 6 current has a 6-step waveform. See here I said because of DC link current LD, right, my AC input current is 6-step, right. So I repeat the statement why I have given this statement, right, why I have given this statement is because of the presence of DC link inductor, DC link current, DC link inductor, the current ripple in the current is reduced, right. So because of this DC link, the load side converter, when it is working as an inverter, behaves essentially as a current source inverter, except that the thyristor commutation which we have seen is now performed instead of current by the motor induced voltages. So consequently what we see is that the AC input current of the source side converter also has the 6-step current waveform, right. So the DC line current ID flows through the machine phase for 120 degrees each in half cycle. Fundamental component of the motor phase current IS, I have to give the relationship with the DC link current ID. So IS is given as root 6 divided by pi into ID, right. It is K times, or IS is K times ID, where K is root 6 divided by pi. Okay, I'll take this as K. I'll take this as K. So for the machine, right, for the machine operation in self-controlled mode, what we say, the rotating field speed should be same as the rotor speed. Okay, rotating field which is present in the air gap between stator and rotor must be same as the rotor speed. So this condition is realized by making frequency of the load side converter output voltage. Listen carefully, this condition is realized. The condition where my rotating field speed is equal to the rotor speed is realized by making the frequency of the load side converter output voltage equal to the frequency of the voltage induced in the armature. Hope I am clear with this, right. So self control, right, we were talking about, we are talking about self control, right. So the self control is ensured when the firing pulses are generated by the comparison of motor terminal voltage. So alternately, firing pulses are generated by the rotor position sensors, which are stationary and suitably aligned with the armature winding. Armature winding. The frequency of induced voltages depend on the speed of the rotor, and their phase depends on the location of the rotor poles with respect to armature winding. I just go through this, just 2 minutes. Go through the first point. Go through the first point, everyone. Right? I hope this is clear. Next, load side converter thyristors are fired in the sequence of their numbers with 60-degree interval. Okay, in the first figure I have given you the numbering. I have given the figure with the numbering of the thyristors. So these are fired in the sequence of their numbers. Right? This you already know, right? Therefore, for the control of load side converter thyristors in all 6 rotor angular positions are required to be detected per cycle of the induced voltage. Right? Now I need the sensors. Right? So we use the Hall effect sensors. Hall effect sensors can detect the magnitude and direction of a magnetic field. Hence, 3 Hall effect sensors, in each leg we can detect 6 rotor positions. The sensors are mounted at 60 degrees as usual. We have to mount it at the 60 degrees electrical intervals and aligned suitably with the armature winding. Right? So this is all about self controlling of the synchronous motor drive. I hope the explanation was clear. Right? For any queries, you can get back to me with the mail ID provided. Thank you.